panel, General Manager, Mr. Shilibo, right? And President Mortgage Banking? No. I want to try and recognize the people. Huh? Okay, Director of Season. Okay, shut that people. All right. And GM Lagos Homes. All right, like what we did yesterday, I'm going to try and create 3 questions, and I will direct the questions to each one of you on the panel. We have 20 minutes, and then I will come back to each one of you to give your counsel on the way forward. Is that agreed with us? All right. So let me start with you, ma'am. Ladies first. When you talk about rights of the consumers, I never assumed that we understand our rights. Because if we understand the rights, we'll understand the duty and the privileges that comes with the right. So before you can even ask for your right, you have to be duty bound first. You must be obeying the law, and then when your rights are contravened, then you can speak out. I want to believe that's the way the law is. But I'd like you to treat it more light. What are those rights of the consumers? And they have used the word here, victims. It's also nice to explain in the context of what we're talking about, who is a victim. Because I also know that if there are rules and things you have contravened, do you still consider that person a victim? So throw lights on that for us, ma'am.
Thank you very much. If you are someone that has contravened a rule or a law, you are not the victim. It's the person who has suffered as a result of that contravention who is the victim. My department in the Lagos State Ministry of Justice is called the Citizens Mediation Center. It's an alternative dispute resolution center, and it's where a lot of the matters relating to land, developers, landlord and tenants come to. 80% of our matters relate to land, landlord and tenants, and developers. In fact, it's just in the past couple of years that the developer problem has reared its ugly head. So we've seen an increase in the numbers. So to answer your question, we are for the victims, trying to get them to get recourse for whatever they have suffered. So we stand in gap for what people will normally do, which is go to court, which is called litigation. Because as we know, developers tend to take properties from indigents, from widows, from people who are already suffering as a result of economic situations. And so, rather than going to litigation, they come to us at the Citizens Mediation Center.
Right, so litigations will always cost a little more. ADR is cheaper.
Yes. Let me quickly give you a brief bio about what we do and how easy and how convenient it is for people in case they're not aware. We were set up by the Lagos State government by what we call a citizens mediation law in 2007 to provide an alternative dispute resolution mechanism which residents of Lagos State can use to resolve their cases instead of litigation.
All right. And it's much faster.
Yes. Our main objective is free. It's not cumbersome.
Hold on. Let's take it one by one. It is free.
It is free.
Yeah.
It is confidential.
It is confidential.
It is fast.
It is fast.
You do not pay a penny
So
to
you
take
have
your
a
matters to Lagos State.
When you become a victim, it's important to understand that the people who are the victims, are the people who are the consequence of the contravention of the.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
All right, let me come back to Nigeria, Lagos. What should the stakeholders be doing now? What should we be doing? And recognize for us who the stakeholders are. Don't let us assume also that we know.
Um, Thank you very much. I believe we're all stakeholders, but for the purpose of this program, the stakeholder will fall back onto us on this side. And first and foremost, I'd like to narrow it down to what I do within our own board stroke agency. We have a mortgage and property law as amended in 2015, which tactically says that we have to create a conducive environment to all Lagos residents who wants to come onto the program that the Lagos State Mortgage Board was established for, which is to reduce the housing deficit through an installmental payment system called the Rent to Own program. Now, exactly that is what it is. So, for you not to fall victim, there are certain things that have been put in place. Now, for example, we have the pre-qualification process, which is pre you getting the unit or the allocation. Now, at the pre-qualification process, we don't want you to be a victim of default. So what we do, there is a debt to income ratio category, which is a 33%, 33 one third percent of your monthly earnings. Once you go over that, we don't qualify you. And the only reason is we don't want you to be a victim of default. So that starts immediately from the pre-qualification process. There is this other part where after you have been successful, we now have a counseling session. That counseling session gives you the do's and don'ts, and that's before you sign the agreement. This is trying to protect the consumer, that is the Lagos resident, I believe. So all these processes are to protect the consumers. So we have that counseling session which tells you about the do's and don'ts, um, your timely repayments, when it is due, facilities management payments, what we do not expect you to do whilst you're within the particular time of repayment. Now, after which we do more of advocacy and even educating all intending allottees. So we make sure that all these processes are put in line. Even we have a mediation center within the agency as well, because we don't expect that over the 120 months, things might go a little bit horrid. We don't pray for that. Now, at the mediation, when you come for mediation, maybe either for job loss, we try to take you through so you don't be a victim at the end of the day. We try to take you through and restructure probably your repayments.
You restructure them.
Yes, we restructure.
All right, let me interject there. I will ask you two questions.
All right, thank you.
Basically, the law says, the labor law says, your salary, your monthly salary should not be encumbered beyond 33.4%. One third, 33 one third. Now, there will be a people, remember, it says that way they're ensuring that you also don't earn below the poverty line. They are using it to protect you. It's a law in place. But people do what you call multiple access to credit. So they have already taken that loan from you, and then they go take other loans. How do you ensure that at the end of the day, they still don't fall victim? And this is why I'm going to come to you after he answers that question.
Right. What we expect is you come to us clean and declare everything you've got in low. If you don't declare, there is a possibility when you get into that low, you start defaulting. And that is an easy way to repossess.
Right. What is the role of credit check agencies? Do we already have credit consumer agencies that check the credibility or the creditworthiness of people that come to you? Are you working with any? Are we aware that we have credit agencies in the country?
Yes, some are coming on. We're engaging at the moment. Some, because from my experience, I could remember if you go globally, you have people, Equifax, CFAX, and all whatnot, who do all those credit checks. But we're working with some agency as we speak. When it's concluded, we put it out.
All right. So what the credit agency does is, if you default on a loan, for example, and you don't repay, they will register your name in their database, and every financial institution that you approach to access funding, they will first refer to them. Now, if your name appears on it, that means you will not be able to get access to credit until you clear it. So, Sam, coming back to you now, Credit Protection Agency. What are you doing? Let's bring it up. Lagos State Consumer Protection. What are we doing in Lagos State? We're always a flagship, we're always ahead of everybody. What are we doing? What is the council for other states? What can we leverage on what we are doing in Lagos State?
Yes, thank you very much. May I respectfully stand on all the already established protocol? Yes, what is, I hear you clearly, what is ASCOPA all about? The Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency, as an agency, started as a unit during the regime of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The vision then in 1999 was a unit created to protect consumers in Lagos State under the Lagos State Ministry of Justice. Fast forward, in the year 2015, a law established the Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency, now under the Lagos State Ministry of Commerce, Cooperative Trade and Industry. What is the mission of the agency? To ensure that consumers in Lagos State do get value for their money, do get satisfaction for whatever product bought or whatever services rendered. Also, to ensure that consumers' rights are protected and also to promote consumer rights in Lagos State. And that we've been doing since the year 2018 when we started operation. And I must say that consumers do have rights. And the rights of consumers are not limited to ensure that right to safety, right to be informed, right to seek redress. I think that is most important, because if any consumer think that his or her rights have been infringed upon, the right place to come is to the Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency. Also, much as consumers do have rights, they also have responsibilities. I think the last panel touched on the issue of collaborators. Because the government too is a stakeholder in the business of estate. And if the due process is not followed, we, in Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency, will ensure that consumers do not suffer. And how? If someone is alleged to have collaborated with who and who and the consumer paid money, and that has happened severally. People have brought their matters to Lascopa, and I can say it without mixing words that we've ensured that the consumers do not suffer. So I will say here that consumers should not suffer in silence. Do not keep quiet. No matter whose ox is God, it's zero tolerance for breach of consumer rights in Lagos City. And consumers too, you have responsibility, and part of your responsibility is to do due diligence. If you follow the due process, if you do follow the requirements, and you get the approval, nobody will disturb you. Because you cannot put something on nothing. So as consumers out there, I will say, you can lodge your complaints at the Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency for whatever consumer breach that is taking place maybe in your daily activities. You can come to Lascopa and lodge your complaints, and this you can do by walking into any of our offices. The head office is at 2B Surgery, River Close Orphanage. We have other offices at Ikoyi Obalende, Bariga, LCDA, Badagry Local Government, and Ojo Local Government. And also, you can lodge your complaints to any of our social media handles, be it Facebook, Twitter, now X, or Instagram, and also you can read Lascopa and Lascopa. In Lascopa, we don't know what consumers to suffer. And I will also say, at this time of the year, there's all forms of things are coming up, especially people that will tell you they are doing promo. You have to be very wary and very concerned. And I also have to mention about, I can't keep quiet on this, about consumables too. A whole lot of things have been put out there for consumers to take, which are very dangerous and hazardous to your health. But here we're talking about the right of consumers as regards real estate. So do not suffer in silence. Whoever that is involved, report to Lascopa, and we'll ensure that you get value for your money and satisfaction.
Thank you very much. All right, let's make welcome. Yeah, if you want to clap, you can clap. That's a good one. All right, let's make welcome the Executive Secretary, CEO, Mr. Kayode Omotosho, Mortgage Banking Association.